Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, last time we got together, we talked about affirmations, visualization boards, and manifesting. And I'll put a link to that up above so that if there's anybody interested in that, how to make those techniques work better, they can review our last discussion. But this week we're going to change a little bit, and we're going to talk about reflections of the self. Now, in the illusion, there are really two selves. Well, there's one self in the illusion and another self that's not in the illusion. And usually these are designated by a small s for the self in the illusion and a capital S for the self, the original self that came into the illusion. Now, the small self is a creation from within the illusion, and it's called our self-identity. And the other self, the large self, is our original self, or life force, or whatever you want to call it. So that's a little distinction between a small s and a large s. Now, reflections of the small s in the illusion. Because from within the illusion, we create a self-identity of who we think we are. And it is that self-identity, that small s, that we associate with the illusion, what's around us, how we interface with other people. The large S is a little bit different, and we're not going to talk too much about it in this discussion. Now, reflections of the self, small s. And that gets back to some other discussions we've had in the past, looking at the fact that the outside world is a reflection of the inside self, the inside created self. Now, in the illusion, things get kind of turned around and upside down, and from in the illusion, we believe that the outside is determining the inside. In most cases, we think the outside, what I experience outside, what comes to me from the outside world, is causing me to have however I feel, however I relate to my job, however I relate in relationships, is determined by the outside. And we're going to talk about it turned around, that the outside is a reflection of what we're doing inside. Now, this is a little bit of Freud, Sigmund Freud, And his idea, or one of his ideas, along with his daughter who worked with him on this, is that the inside projects onto the outside environment what's going on inside. We project it out, and then it reflects back to us. Now that's what we're going to be talking about, reflecting back to us, and how we interpret that reflection. First, how we create the self the way it is. Now we have a mirror or a lens through which we look at what's outside. And when that outside, it comes back to us as a reflection, it moves inside, and we believe what we have projected is reflected back to us. But we don't know we projected it. That's called an ego defense system. An ego defense system. Why is that? Well, so what's going on inside if we have unusual things, and I'll call them negative things, that we think or feel or understand about ourselves, feels bad. So what we do, we take those, reflect them out on other people. Our negative inside, we reflect out. We project it out. And then we see that reflected back to us. So we don't blame the self. We don't say, oh, that's the way I am. We say, no, I'm not that way. They are. That's them. That's how we save our ego. That's how we defend against feeling bad on the inside. See, if we do something wrong, we say, we don't say, if somebody says, hey, you did so-and-so wrong. What we do is we will project that and say, yeah, but look at Charlie Brown. Look how much he did. Look at Susie Q. See how much she did. And then you're talking to me? Oh, see? See how we reflect our inside negativity onto other people, and then we see it reflected back to us. And then we say, I don't have a problem. Look at them. Look at them. They're the ones with the problem, not me. That's a defense of your ego. What an interesting thing. Now, also, well, that's a good part of it. We don't see it. We don't see that in the outside world. We think it's really out there. We don't know we projected it and are seeing a reflection of it. We think that's what's out there. The problem with that is you never heal yourself then. Because on a conscious level, you won't see any need to change. You will always project it outside and reflect back and say, they're the ones that need a change. They're the ones that need help, not me. So we're going to talk and see how this model works. Oh, what an interesting subject. And so, in a moment, we'll change our scenery and we'll try and we'll bring back this discussion, reflections of the self. See you in a moment. We're back with our whiteboard and our discussion subject, reflections of the self. Now also, I have incorporated here a device, a device to separate the outside of us from the inside of us. Now, why did I do that? Well, that's because outside of us, we got a lot of people, and we are going to reflect them. So I'm going to draw them just randomly, couple of people, generic people, so we don't have a problem. So we already know that outside of us, besides people, we have, as we have discussed before, we have everything outside of us. Everything outside of us. So outside, here's the inside. Again, a lot of times in my models, I make that distinction between what is outside of us and what is inside of us. Now this I call the big head model, because this represents what's inside of you. So outside, as usually come, because your car is outside of you, your significant other is outside of you, the stars, the moon, the sun, the galaxies, the frogs, everything is outside of you. So we call outside of us is everything. Everything. Okay? Which means the good, the bad, the ugly, the awful, is the sublime, the beautiful. It's all out here. It's all out here to see. And that leaves us with what's inside of us. So let me write inside. Inside. And this is the outside. I should have said it's not everything, but everything is outside. Outside is everything. Well, yes, outside is everything. Inside, let me dot the I. Inside, what's inside? The small s is inside. The small s that we talked about before in the intro. The small s is in here. It's a creation. It's created by your experiences experiences starting in the womb. That's the way it goes. We won't remember them, of course, consciously, but they do affect us. So we have all of that in here, and every experience in our life we've had, it's all in here, and we coalesce it into memories, and from the memories into beliefs. So inside of here, you have beliefs and memories and reference material. Reference material. Reference material is not a direct experience. It is stuff that we gathered through secondary means. Reading, listening to the radio, watching movies, watching YouTube, like this, watching stuff. See, you're picking up information that you can use as reference information. So all of this is inside of you, and from this information, you make just what I do on the board. You make models. You think and those models turn into be your world. So you think you create the whole expanse of that everything is outside of you, and you're creating inside who you believe yourself to be. It's called your ego identity, and you will identify with what you have created inside of you. Isn't that interesting? Because you thought, oh, this was real stuff. That this is real because this is real. And you experience this through your little eyeball. And, of course, your other lenses or your other senses. So you take in the sense information and you say, well, that's real. No, it's not real. And this is where the illusion starts. Well, not where it starts, but there's part of it. What you take in of the outside world is determined by your experiences from the past. So you start with nothing, you gain a little experience in the womb, you come out of the womb and, oh, look at this big fat world, wow! And you start picking up experiences, and you begin developing models as to what you believe the world is based upon your experiences. And then your experiences, which you can only have in the present moment, is gone. As soon as the experience is out of the present moment, it's gone. And what do you have left? Memories. So all you have in here is memories. You have no experiences. Experiences happen in the present moment as you're experiencing them, and then, just like that, they're gone. And what do you have left? What's the residue of the experience? A memory. Now, we talked about this before. You recognize, so far, we haven't got to reflections of the self. We're still talking about how you develop this self. And this self turns out to be only memories. And then you take those memories, which you created, and you put them together in little boxes and form beliefs. And your reference information will support your beliefs. If the reference information doesn't support your beliefs and your memories of past experiences, doesn't mean anything to you. So there has to be a tie-in for your reference material will support your beliefs and your memories. So this is all created inside of you. Now, once you get this in here, once you have your beliefs in here of how your experience, how you had this information come to you through your senses from the outside world, you use this information to filter the input and you take out what doesn't match your beliefs. You take out what don't match your beliefs. Of course, you won't know it on a conscious level because all of this stuff is in your subconscious mind. Now, are you beginning to see how these things tie together? All of these videos, anyone that talks about the mind, the body, experiences, beliefs, memories, it's all the same thing. They all interact. And as we discussed in some of our other videos, all you are your memories. So what's going on inside of you is a creation based upon your memories, however they show up. Now I know you think this is real, but it's everything. You never see the everything. You only see what matches your beliefs. Now, don't go away. You're going to say, well, that's stuff we talked about before. But now we're going to talk about projection and reflection. Projection and reflection. So I want you to kind of think about what you have in here that you're reflecting out. I'm going to use movies. I'm going to use movies as a metaphor for what I'm talking about. So when you have inside of here, when you project, you need a projector. So I'm going to draw a projector. Now I'm going to draw an old-fashioned one. That's when they had, a lot of film. Now a lot of our projection is done electronically. But at one time, we used to have rolls of film. And you had the film that started, and you had the take-up reel. So this was a projector, and you had a lens on the front of it. Very similar to your glasses. So you have a lens on front of the projector. Inside, you have a parabolic lens in the back and a light source that shines out, and the light comes out through the film that's right there in front of the lens, and then I'll have to put a screen out here. So we have a screen, and you through your lens, we use the eye because it's easier right now. We project. In this case, we're projecting our beliefs. Now, a lot of times, it doesn't matter if they're, for the model, it doesn't matter if they're negative or positive. Positive ones work just the same as negative ones. But it's the negative ones that screw up your life. It's not the positive beliefs, values, moral judgments. It's not the positive ones. It's the negative ones that you have that screw up your life. So you have the projector. I should write that down. Projector. Inside of you. And then this is coming out is a projection. So you have a projection. Projection. And it goes out and hits a screen. It comes out and hits the screen. And in motion pictures, you have, even the modern ones, have a screen. And you project the picture onto the screen, and then it reflects back to you. Wherever you're sitting in the audience, it reflects back. So this will reflect back. In this case, there you are. So this will reflect back to you. Are you beginning to see why the reflection is such a good ego defense system? By the way, what you make in here is your ego identity. You make your ego identity in there. And then the negative ones, because those are the ones you don't want to admit you got, you project them out. And these people out here that I drew before, these people out here are the screen. They are the screen on which you project your beliefs. See, you project your beliefs outside onto these people. You project them outside. That's your belief. Now, he's going to radiate some energy. We talked about we all radiate some energy. And you are going to, using your projection, you are going to see a reflection back to you. But you're going to see a reflection based upon what you already believe about him on the inside, or her, or them, or a situation. This is where prejudices work. See, you got a belief about certain kinds of people, certain kinds of organizations, certain kinds of political parties and stuff. You got all kinds of stuff in here which are your beliefs. And some of them we call prejudices. And so when you see this person out here, and if you never met him before, and you say, oh, hi, my name is Mike, what's your name? Why? He says, my name's Charlie Brown. And you say, well, okay, Charlie, and you will pick up radiation in his information. You pick up information in his speech, in his dress, in his language, in the syntax of how he uses the language. And you are going to make judgments. You got to judge him based upon your beliefs, and you won't see him or her. You won't see them. You will see your reflection. You will see your reflection of what you projected onto him. This is what we do, and we don't know it. It's your beliefs, which are sometimes prejudice, your moral judgments, which are sometimes prejudice, your religious beliefs, moral judgments, political affiliations, fraternity organizations, all kinds of things that you belong to, that you identify with. See, once you identify with the ego in all of its varying forms, once you identify, then you believe all of those ego forms. You will move heaven and earth to make your beliefs true for you. And certain of your beliefs around religion, ethnic organizations, all kinds of things that you have, and this all comes from your family of origin. And out here is someone, you don't see them. You see them only in relationship to your prejudices, your beliefs, your values. If they are close to your beliefs and values, love them. There's an old story about, it's not an old story, it's a saying. The enemy of my enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we work ourselves around because of our beliefs and values, which are creations. So all these people out here that you see, you don't see them. You don't see them. You see your reflection of them. You don't see nothing out here that is in here. You see, you filter out and you only see what you want to see. You only hear what you want to hear. And if these are far enough away from your belief system, you won't see them at all. They won't be in your world. Even though you're walking right by them, they won't be in your world. So, the screen that's on the outside that reflects back, it's the outside environment. It's all these people, good ones, bad ones. It's all of these people in your life. And if they radiate an energy that matches your belief system, oh, aren't they wonderful people? If they don't, oh, aren't they bad people? So what's outside of you is never what you think it is. It's always based on what you're doing inside. What's outside is always a reflection of what you're doing inside. The outside is always a reflection of what you're doing inside. So if you have I'm checking the time on this. I can't see it from. I got a new camera, and it's a little smaller. I'm looking at a little thing where I used to look at a big thing, and I can't see it. So, and I don't want to go too far. This is a very deep subject, and it has within it how we manipulate our outside environment to meet our inside needs. So what you think is outside is always a reflection of the self. Is always a reflection of what you're doing inside. It's not how it really is. But on a conscious level, you will believe this is real out here. This is real stuff. And it's part of the illusion. It's part of how you see through this lens, how you see your world and manipulate everything out here to satisfy your beliefs. Oh, you work very hard at that. Now, if you want a better world out here, because a lot of people say, oh, people are getting hurt, people are doing this, people are doing that. It's all an illusion. Yeah, but they really hurt. You don't have to see them. All you gotta do is change this. Oh, that's not real. This isn't real either. We manipulate it to fit our needs. Now, you probably already know, if you think about people starving, you know, we got about, I think the estimate is 5 times more food produced in the world than we use. The problem is not, we don't have food to feed people. It's how we get them to the people. Well, who's going to pay for moving it around? You think I'm going to move it for nothing? That's not the question. The question is, we have food in this world to feed all the people in it by about 5 times more. But it never gets to them. Why not? Has to do with our belief system, and politics, and religion, and what we think is right and wrong. It's all kinds of stuff like that. Has nothing to do with what's out here. Has to do with what you're doing inside. So change your inside and you see a different world. Well, that's not real. You can't just do that. You can't just do that and make a different world. Why not? You did it to find the world that you got right now. Change your mind, you change your world. Heal the past, and you change the present. You keep forgetting you're in an illusion, and you don't know how to get out of it. But when you understand you're in an illusion, then you begin to work on how to get out of it, how to feed all the people. If you don't believe you're an illusion, you think the illusion is real, no way to get out of it. So those are some interesting things to think about. And now, we'll come up with another subject. Everything out here is a reflection of who you think you are. Change who you think you are, and you have a different world out here. Oh, how interesting is that? So you think about that and be good to yourself. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time we get together. Bye now.